Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be going over some books that I am predicting are going to be 5-star reads for me. Now, there is going to be a slight twist to how and what books I have picked for these 5-star predictions, and that's in the fact that I picked books that I own. This year, as I said in a previous video, was supposed to be the year where I focused on reading the books that I own. That did not happen. Next year, I want to attempt to do the same thing. And I figured, you know what, let's do some 5-star predictions for books that I own. Because a lot of these books I bought because I was like, hey, I'm going to really enjoy that, and it's more than likely going to be like a 5-star. So that's how this video is being put together. So let's just go ahead and let's just get started. So the first book that I have on this list is Soul Keeper by David Dalglish. This is the first book in the Keepers trilogy. I do own the whole thing because this was one of those purchases where I decided to buy the whole thing because I was like, yeah, that's going to be a 5-star for me. This is actually the first, I've never actually read anything by David. And all of the series that he has put out, this is the one that really caught my attention the most. He does have another one that it's like one of the titles is like Dance of the Cloaks or something. It's like 5 or 6 books long. That one, it sort of got my attention. But this one, something about this one just really caught my attention. And I really do think that this is going to be like a strong contender for me. It deals with a soul keeper who is a person who goes around to different villages as like a preacher healer. A void rips in the world and creatures from other like mystical creatures basically start coming through the void and into the world, and people are dying. Soul keepers are coming up dead and being turned into like these macabre lifelike things. So it just there's elements of it that sound really interesting, and like I said, it's the first series that he's written that has like really snagged my attention, and so I wanted this to be like my first introduction to him. I don't see a lot of people talk about this series. Unless you guys watch Holly Hart's books, because she talks about his books all the time. But outside of her, I've never really seen anyone talk about this particular series, but I do feel like this one is going to be a 5-star for me. The next one on this list is The Art of Prophecy by Wesley Chu, the first book in the War Arts saga. This was one where it was more so, I initially picked it up because I really loved the cover art. But when I found out it was like a martial arts fantasy kind of thing, and I was like, hold on, that sounds really awesome, and I think I'm really gonna love that. Knowing that, because I love fantasy, but I also do enjoy martial arts when it's incorporated into something, I'm definitely here for this vibe. So something is definitely telling me that I'm gonna really like this one. Next up, I have The Tyranny of Faith by Richard Swan. This is book 2 in The Empire of the Wolf, and I gave 5 stars to the first book. I loved the first book. I was a hot mess reading that one, did a lot of crying, and then I remember then afterwards I had actually talked to the author on Twitter a little bit, and he was like, oh, if that one made you cry, then Tyranny of Faith is gonna rip your heart out and leave you just dead. And I was like, sold. Sold. Because that is how I want my books. I want my books to leave me a crying mess, okay? Like, that is a perfect 5-star book to me. So because I loved the first one so much, I want to, like, I better love this one just as much. So this is definitely a 5-star prediction for me. Then I have The Emperor's Blades by Brian Staveley. So I've owned this series for about 4 or 5 years now. And I've been told I'm lucky to have hardbacks. I don't know why. But I guess they're a little hard to get. But I picked it up because they ride giant birds. The minute I found that out, I was like, this is gonna be a 5-star series for me just because of the birds. Because I am a bird person, okay? I need you guys to understand that. Like, you have people that are cat people, and then you have dog people. I'm a bird person, okay? I'm a bird and fish person, all right? I love them so much, okay? So knowing that this one has giant birds that they ride on, that was all I needed. And that's all if the book is bad, I'm gonna give it 5 stars just for the birds. I mean, I'll give the book an actual real rating, but 5 stars for the birds across the board. But I do strongly think that this one is going to be a 5-star for me. I don't really hear a lot of people talk about it, which does make me a little bit worried, but I'm here for the birds, guys. That's what I'm here for. Then we have City of Last Chances by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So this one actually just recently came out, and I have experience with Adrian's work through his novellas. And out of all the novellas I've read, I think only one of them I was actually super disappointed with, and it was just a little bit too off kilter for me personally. But all of his other ones I have loved. I just find something very interesting and entertaining about his writing and how he tackles certain subjects. And this one, I honestly don't even know what this book is about, but when I got it in from Goldsboro, because that's the copy I have, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a 5-star. Like, I don't know why. Like, something, like the cover is a 10-star. These edges are a 10-star. The book itself is going to be 5. I just know it. I can feel it in my bones. So I am definitely looking forward to getting to this one and seeing if my prediction is right, because I'm going into this blind. I do not plan on actually reading the synopsis for it. I have found that I enjoy going into his books just not knowing anything and just seeing what he throws at me. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I feel it. It's gonna be a 5-star. Then I have The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. I always end up saying Baker, and then I realized I said it was wrong. It's Barker. But this is actually a series that I had wanted for a really long time, and every time I went to Barnes & Noble, it was never in stock, or they only had number 3, and I was like, no, I want the first book. And it was just like, I don't read a lot of books that involve being on ships, and like having like, I don't know, I don't even know if they're pirates. Like I would assume, but I don't know. But I don't really, I think I've only ever read like one other book that the story took place like on a ship. No, I've read 2 and I hated both of them. Hold on a second. Is this really gonna be a 5-star for me? Now I'm concerned when I just thought about that the other 2 books that took place on ships, I did not like them. Oh no. Am I gonna be wrong? I don't want to be wrong. I want my prediction for this one to be right. And plus I want an excuse to like keep the broken binding editions because they are really nice. And I've wanted this one. I've wanted this one for a while. I don't know. I'm really, really, really hoping that this one is a 5-star now that I've thought about the other 2 that I did not like. Did I just set myself up for failure, guys? Maybe. I'm so good at this. The next one I have on this list is The Severing Sun by Von Roycroft. So this is a self-published book. And this was one of the ones where I took one look at the cover and I was like, I have to own it. It's going to be 5 stars. Simple as that. This is another one. I like to, for anyone who's new here, I like to go into my books blind. I really do. I am not a synopsis kind of girl. Every now and then I will read them. But for the most part, I am a cover girl. I'm a title girl. And maybe you can throw like a thing or 2 at me like, oh, it deals with like someone bringing people back from the dead. Not that this book does that, but like that's what I'm saying. Like you can just tell me like a piece of something. But as for like reading synopsises, I most likely won't do that. So this one was just strictly the cover, and then sometimes I just get this feeling, this vibe when I see a book that I'm just like, I'm gonna love that. I'm gonna love it. Simple as that. And this was one of the ones where I took one look at it and I was just like, I'm gonna fall in love with that book. I am. I know I am. There's something about it that just tells me, and I don't know what that is. Like, I'm sorry I can't explain that to you guys. That's just how I work. But yeah, this one I definitely feel it's gonna be a 5-star, but it is also part of like why I've put it off a little bit because I did get it earlier this year. But definitely when I do get to it, I think it's gonna be 5 stars. Have any of you read this one? And then the last one on this list that comes from my collection is one that I have put on TBRs numerous times. And it's Queens of the Wyrd by Tamandra Whitecastle. So basically, if you're new here, my favorite book of all time is Kings of the Wyld. I love that book. The channel name is inspired by Kings of the Wyld, if you did not know that. This was told to me as Kings of the Wyld, but women and moms. And I was like, shut the front door. Shut the front door right now. 5 stars. I don't even need to read it. I'm gonna own it. And I did. I bought it. I actually bought it straight from the author, so it is signed. And I don't know why I keep putting it off though. Like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I know the second I start this, I'm going to fall in love with it. And it's going to be my favorite thing, since everyone is like, you loved Kings of the Wyld, you are going to love this. But I don't know why I don't read it. Like, I need to fix that, but I just know, like, it's 5 stars. Like, I recommend it to people and I haven't even read it. And that's probably not smart, but I've told other people, oh yeah, you should read that one because you liked Kings of the Wyld, and it's awesome butt-kicking moms. I need to correct that though, that I haven't read it yet. But this is one that I definitely know, absolutely positively know, that it is going to be 5 stars for me. And then if it's not, I'm going to be really, really sad. And then I'll just pretend. So those are just a couple of the books from my collection, because that's not even all of them that I think are going to be 5 stars for me. I just picked a handful of ones that I was like, yeah, let's just talk about these ones that I think are going to be 5 stars. So if you've read any of these, drop a comment below. Let me know if any of them have caught your interest and you want to check them out too. Let me know that as well. And like, subscribe, all of those great things. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.